Welcome to the fourth video in my How to Find Income Winners series. And this whole series is available as part of my new email service. It's a free weekly email service at moneyweek.com/Tim Bennett. Now, we've asked 2 or 3 questions so far in the series. The first question we asked was, where can I find income? Okay, and we decided that equities were part of a spectrum of places an investor can find a decent income. Number 2, we asked the question, what is the key phrase that an income investor needs to know? And the answer is the word dividend. What does that mean? In video number 3, we looked at yield, okay? A way to decide whether you are in fact getting a decent percentage return on your investment from a particular company. And at the end of that video, I suggested there are 1 or 2 traps you can fall into. Is it simply a case, when you're finding income winners, of just listing various stocks by their dividend yield and picking off the absolute highest? And the answer is you've got to be a little bit careful. Okay, you've got to be a little bit careful. There are 1 or 2 safety checks that are well worth applying, one in particular to your income winners before you just pile in. Okay? So we're asking that question right now. If a stock has a 10% yield, that's a dividend yield. Sounds fantastic. Way above the rate of inflation, way above the average offered by FTSE 100 stocks at the moment, okay, and way above bank accounts and all the rest of it. But would I be wise if I'm picking income winners to just pile into that stock? Maybe, but I want to carry out a couple of checks first, okay? And the 2 checks I'm going to suggest I want to carry out in this video are as follows. Number 1, how consistent is this company? Okay, and number 2, can they afford it? All right, because no good. If I'm looking for an income winner, a good steady stream of income that I can rely on year in, year out, it's no good someone saying to me, oh, Tim, this stock pays 10%, if next year we're down to 1%, okay? And don't forget that directors can cut dividends, okay, and that affects dividend yields. There's nothing written in stone that says the directors have to promise you the same ordinary dividend every year. So how would I go about making a sort of judgment call on the quality of this 10% yield? Number 1, I would look for a nice track record of consistently growing dividends. Okay? So I'd be looking to get hold of information that tells me the dividend the company's paid over the last 3 to 5 years. And I'm looking for a nice upward trend. I'm not looking for spikes and dips, okay? I'm not looking for 10% one year, 2% the next year, 12% the next. Okay, I'm looking for a nice consistent trend of steady dividend growth, okay? Probably in single digits. So when I say that, yeah, I'm looking for a firm that's grown its dividends by somewhere between maybe 5 to 10%. Once you get over the 10% mark, you have to ask the question, can they keep it up? Okay, you can't grow anything by a lot more than 10% for very long. Okay, because the numbers involved using compounding principles become huge. Okay, give an example. There's an accountancy firm 20 years ago that if its projections of how many students it would employ had in fact been true, 10 years later it would have been employing every student in the country. A little bit unlikely. Okay, so we're looking for consistent and believable growth in dividends. Affordability. This is okay. They've chosen to pay out a dividend this year. That's giving me a yield of 10%. Could they repeat that trick? How much scope is there for increasing the dividend in the future? Okay, and for that, you need to ask another question. You need to ask about something called the payout ratio. All right, and what payout ratios do is give you a very quick snapshot on whether a company can really afford to keep increasing its dividends. Now the payout ratio is quite straightforward in a way. What you do is this. You take the profit available to pay dividends and compare it to the dividend that was paid out of that profit figure. And ask yourself the question, how much room for manoeuvre is left? Give me an example. Supposing a company is paying a 20 million dividend out of profits before dividends, so profits available to pay dividends of 100 million. The so-called payout ratio simply expresses the dividend as a percentage of the profits available to pay it. So turning that into a percentage, I just multiply by 100%, and that's 20%. A low payout ratio is good news. A low payout ratio is what you want, okay? Because the lower that ratio, the more scope there is to increase dividends in the future, okay? So personally, when I'm picking income winners, a payout ratio of certainly any more than 50% would have me pretty nervous. Well below 50% is a good sign, all right? So that starts to get you into the issue of, well, I'm looking at a nice juicy yield, but two things, okay? Is there a consistent pattern of this company paying dividends? And how much room for maneuver have they got in terms of increasing the dividend in the future?